Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do?
I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault. A new series streaming now only on Peacock.
Did you know that parents rank teaching financial literacy as the toughest life skill? That's where Greenlight comes in, the debit card and money app made for families. With Greenlight, you can send money quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and track spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn how to earn, save, and spend responsibly, while parents have peace of mind knowing smart money habits are being built. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/Spotify.
Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary listeners, crooks and crookians, heroes and heroines. The audio performance you are about to enjoy discusses casinos and gambling. We do not recommend gambling with money you cannot afford to lose or that is needed to pay bills. If you have a gambling problem, contact your problem gambling hotline. If you do not know how to contact your problem gambling hotline, send an email to help@casinocombat.com. We will find that number for you and provide it to you. Our host's past performances are not indicative of anyone's future results, including his own. All materials presented here are based on actual facts. Names and dates are changed to protect the innocent and the guilty. Some events unrelated to outcomes may be omitted in the interest of brevity and clarity. It's me, it's TRG, the Ramblin Gambler. What can I say? When his people email and ask if he can scream his name at the beginning of your podcast, what do you do? I mean, all I do is win. That's too easy. That's a layup. Let's do something with more depth. Let's start things out with something we can ponder a bit. Said I'm grateful for not anything but everything. Every loss I had to take, I took it on the chin. We're still on the hot 10. And I knew one day that we would win again. Been preyed on my downfall by many men. Oh Lord, I thank you for not giving in. Must I tell you once again? All I do is win. You either win with us or watch us win. That's why I'm grateful for anything and everything. I am grateful. That's better. There's a little we can chew on in there. There's a little there that's thought-provoking. I am always grateful. Absolutely always. If this is your next time joining me, I'm grateful for you. Welcome back. Thank you very much for the gift of your time. If this is your first time, if you just found our little corner of the interwebs, your timing is perfect. In just a little while, I'm going to do a Questions My Sons Ask segment to start the episode and answer a question about what to do next if you are just finding this podcast and would like to seriously attempt to win the game of casino gambling. Let's run down the rest of the battle plan. Also in the Questions My Sons Ask segment, I'm going to respond to an excellent question, actually a set of questions, from Virginia Casino player Doug, Inner Circle member and defender of the Commonwealth. Something that he sent me, Commonwealth, of course, spelled with a K. How else would we do that? After that, I'm going to revisit Casino Wisdom number 28 from a slightly different point of view. I applied that wisdom to my play this past week, to my mindset this past week, and I'm going to therefore do a results segment and talk about how the gambling went this week after a disappointing end of January 2024. So, questions, a wisdom, and then that wisdom's going to take us into play results with a focus on that wisdom. From there, we are going to adjourn to the virtual VIP lounge. I've met a very interesting person named Kee-n't. I've been meeting him, been spending some time with him at my local casino. And then this is interesting. It's no fun being an illegal alien, I'm sure. I have some thoughts that Kee-n't might be an actual alien. See, that's spelled K-E-E-N''T. Kee-n't. You might know, and if you don't, I'm going to enlighten you at length, but in the Superman comic books, all the aliens from Krypton have names that end with apostrophe or -L, depending on what version of the comic book you're looking at. Superman is actually Kal-El, and his dad is Jor-El, and his cousin is Kara Zor-El, and Superboy is Kon-El. There's even a Mon-El, although I think he's actually from Daxam, not from Krypton, if I really think about it. And, okay, sorry, that's a bit sideways. There is a point in there I'm trying to make. There are beings, as I said, within our Casino Combat galaxy, and I suspect they are aliens. They know me. They've been exposed to our materials. They've listened to episodes, and they still lose. They are Ents, N''T. Not Ents, E-N-T like Treebeard. He's really wise. I'm sure he could handle winning. No, these are Ents, N''Ts. They can't, they won't, or they don't. They don't do the things that work for the rest of us. They are alien to the squad in the galaxy, to really overdo this metaphor that I'm having way too much fun with. Kee-n't appears to be from this race of Ents. Nice enough guy, but he has an interesting approach to blackjack, and I think one we can all learn from. Certainly, I found it educational and informative to hang out with him. So I'll be sharing my experiences with him to wrap things up today in episode 130 in the virtual VIP lounge. Guardian and the Jet have not checked in, but that is okay. We have so much squad news to talk about. We are overflowing with news from the squad. We have a member of the squad who just posted to the Casino Combat Squad Facebook group, a group that you should be in if you are on Facebook, in my never so humble opinion. Great chance to meet other members of the squad, hear what's going on with them, hear about their results, see their questions. You never know, one of their questions will be one of your answers. Absolutely, you don't know when that's going to happen. This squad member posted that he was just returning from back-to-back comped cruises. Very literally got off one comped cruise, walked a short distance or traveled a short distance, and got on another comped cruise. Back-to-back cruises. I've heard that's a thing. Very cool, very cool. I'd love to try that. Not only back-to-back comped cruises and all the great casino lifestyle that goes with that, but was also finishing 6 straight winning months of doing casino combat, of using the casino combat arsenal successfully, which is certainly living a casino lifestyle. Certainly one form of a casino lifestyle. But I also heard from another listener who has used what we talk about here for a very different approach to living a casino lifestyle, and an equally valid approach. And I told him I would just paraphrase things a bit here to protect his privacy. But what he was sharing with me is his buddies would regularly invite him to hang out and play craps at a casino they have nearby. And in the past when he went, things always ended up late, little too much booze, ride share home, too much money lost, a car that needed to be picked up the next day, and an angry wife. Now, he didn't go very often for those reasons. And personally, I think that's really smart in and of itself, right? That's a really mature, reasonable, adult way to handle things, right? If your buddies invite you out, you go to the casino with them, you hang out, you play craps, you have so much to drink, which I've done plenty of times, we all know that. You take a ride share home, you've lost enough money that your wife is angry and you got to go back the next day and pick up the car. That sounds like one that you should do with her blessing and not very often. I can certainly see why that wouldn't necessarily go over well. He found the podcast. He started listening to the craps episodes, kind of searching for them and finding them, and then ended up going back, as many of you do, and thank you so very much, and starting from the very beginning. He used Dr. ECE's flowcharts to learn TRG2, always be grindin', and TRG4, win more, keep more. And he wanted me to thank ECE for those resources, and we are always grateful for those. He explained to his wife that he wanted to try going out with the guys and playing that way. And he had to win the first time. And while he doesn't win all the time since then, he has been winning more than he loses. And playing a little bit bigger because he has more confidence and staying power. His wife is thrilled with the comped brunches that come from him being able to play a bit bigger. And he got concert tickets and was able to take her on a date night and go see the concert. He feels like he has a plan. Our podcast has turned casinos from a negative to a positive in his life. It's gone from a drain and a problem to a resource and something that he enjoys both with his friends and with his wife. That's wonderful. That is absolutely a casino lifestyle. That's applying the arsenal, that's applying the lessons, that's taken what I've talked about, what others have talked about here on our podcast, and applying it directly into your life for benefit. I love hearing about those. We are going to use some baseball metaphors this episode, but that is a home run for me right there to hear someone share that story. And as I said, that is very much living a casino lifestyle, just as much as taking a comped cruise is living a casino lifestyle. Hang out with your friends, win more than you lose, treat your wife to comped meals and concerts. That's huge. All right, I have one more to share with you, one more email. Okay, I've got a note here. Actually, I do. I have two here. So I have an email to share, and then T-Rex, if I forget to do ECE's free bet solution, make me re-record this, because I do have something from ECE that I wanted to share as well that was really brilliant, and I'll get to that in a minute. But here's an excellent email that I received. It says, "Morning TRG. Just wanted to say thank you for all the effort, energy, and passion you bring to the podcast. I started listening during the end of the pandemic, and I am now up to date. It is very informative, interesting, and entertaining." This is obviously a very intelligent and perceptive listener. Obviously, he continues. "Love the stories, concepts, and wisdoms which have helped me no end on recent trips to Las Vegas and Atlantic City. On many occasions, I found myself asking, what would TRG do? I have gone from flat betting to being able to stay at a table for several hours grinding out a win, helping me keep discipline when hitting my exit point, playing basic strategy when those around me are losing the plot. I have had many a comment from dealers about how I'm playing smart when numerous other players come and go, placing large side bets and burning through their bankroll. Episodes 128 and 129 resonated with me, particularly in regards to the zero exit, which I have used a number of times when you feel that that's as good as it's going to get, and running to the exit when an improbable set of results continue to happen. When playing at Caesars in Atlantic City, I had a table session where I lost almost a dozen hands in a row, pushing on blackjack, losing and pushing on hands of 20 and over over again, dealers having up cards of 5 or 6 and pushing or making hands. This also reinforces the point of winning the month, or the trip in my circumstances. Casino gambling is pretty poor in the UK, with comps almost non-existent. That's an interesting thing I wouldn't know. I appreciate the extra feedback that comps aren't particularly good in the United Kingdom. That's good data. Thank you very much. He continues. It also reinforces the point of winning the month or the trip in his circumstance. He says, as you can spend several hours at a table on one buy-in and the next table hit your negative exit in 20 minutes. And then he had a question about spas for Mrs. TRG that she's answered. But thanks once again, Tim. So thank you, Tim. And thank you, I guess, in the podcast as opposed to just in an email. There is good stuff here. I really appreciate the feedback. And the one thing I wanted to point out is there are a couple of recurring themes here that I hear frequently from people who are going out and actually using our tools and materials. And the first thing that I hear frequently is the ability to play through bad situations when other people are getting crushed. I'm thrilled for this for Tim, but this is common. Lots of people report this, that they're watching other people get wrecked and they're holding their own and able to play through. I see that personally all the time, but it's much more important that other people are seeing it. If it's happening to me, maybe it's a fluke. If it's also happening to other people, it's a trend, it's a pattern, it's a validation that this isn't all just made up, or that it's made up in a way that works and functions. So I'm thrilled to hear that. The second recurring theme is this: the phenomena of dealers telling us we are smart players. That unsolicited comment that was smart, that you did well, that you are good at this because of how you are doing it. Trust me, dealers see stupid all day, and they rarely see smart. When multiple listeners are being told by multiple dealers in multiple places that they are smart players, that is again wonderful confirmation that what we discuss here works. Before I move on, the great thing about our squad is that many voices contribute. Often I do the reading, but the thoughts are not mine. And I am by no means the only one with good ideas. We have really smart and wise people contributing. Last episode, I was telling you about the player who had a nice high limit win and then ruined it all after playing and losing a large free bet and getting pulled back in and giving all of his win and more back. My dealer friend Big Kev and I came up with several ways we thought the free bet could have been handled better. Well, Inner Circle member East Coast Emissary PhD sent a text with his approach, which is, of course, an improvement on what Big Kev and I came up with. Dr. ECE said, I'd play the big bet back on Baccarat. Bet $200 on Banker, bet $100 and the $100 match bet on Player. If Banker comes out, win $190 on Banker, lose $100 on Player, net plus $90. If Player comes out, lose $200 on Banker, win $200 on Player, a completely risk-free bet. A completely risk-free bet. Perfect. Ongoing brilliance from Dr. ECE, the only person on the planet that holds a PhD in casino combat. Wonderful set of things there for us to talk through from the squad. Great experiences going on in the casino combat galaxy. Let's get started with questions my sons ask.
What?
My sons ask questions about gambling. Inner Circle members ask questions about gambling. And sometimes potential new listeners ask questions about gambling. We have a bit of both of those that I want to try to answer today. First, Inner Circle member and Defender of the Commonwealth, VCPD, wrote with a situation specific to his local casino, and then a general question that I'd like to share with you today. So 2 questions, and I've edited out some of the other things that he said. We'll hold those for another time. We'll shade those toward his privacy a little bit and wait till we have some outcomes on that. But his first question was, I have been looking at getting an MGM credit card, one that earns tiers and reward points from my spending. I've looked at the numbers, and based on the last time I checked, I could easily reach the 3rd tier in their system from spending alone. Do you know if spending alone is enough? Will they give me room comps, meal comps, and free play even without stepping foot in a casino? Having some level of comps and free play would make it so much easier for me to get to Atlantic City. Great question. This has been a great tool for myself and Mrs. TRG, the radiant goddess of casino combat. I know some other squad mates, Inner Circle members, Excelsior Brigade members that have also benefited from this credit card. The neat thing about this card, as opposed to some other brands' cards, is it does in fact give tier points and it gives free slot play just based on spend, and it doesn't have to be spend in their property. It actually gives more of those for groceries and gasoline spend. So in that sense, it is a great card if you have an MGM brand available to you, if you have an MGM location available to you, or if you travel to one of their locations fairly regularly, because you can do your normal spend. To lay this out completely, the way this is done properly is you do your normal spend, and then you take the money you would have spent in cash, and you immediately pay the credit card. So there's never any interest, and you're just turning things you would normally do with your normal spending on your normal bank account into MGM status and free slot play. Now, I did clarify to VCPD that tier status gets you perks, not comps. So if you get to gold, the 3rd tier, you will skip resort and parking fees. Those are perks. You will get into Amphora Lounge in Atlantic City by paying $10 in reward credits. That's free tax-free imaginary money. You will skip some lines. You will get some free show tickets, those types of things. You will also get free slot play that you could use at Borgata based on what you spent. But comps are based on play rather than tier. So just spend isn't going to get you a room comp. And that's very important. It's very important that we understand this difference. You can be a first tier player. You can be a player that never moves up their rewards system. Maybe you go to Atlantic City twice a year, but when you play, you're playing a large amount for many hours, and you're never going to get enough points on 4 nights, a 2-night visit and a 2-night visit. You're never going to get enough points to move all the way up to gold, but they're going to be happy to comp you the 2 nights. They're going to maybe be happy to comp you some food when you can get there. So tier does not get you comps. Play gets you comps. However, MGM also has another way to get comps, both food and rooms. And that's the point I made to VCPD, and that is the My Vegas app. It's in the Google Play Store. It's in the Apple's App Store. They give you free coins to spin on imaginary slot machines, and those earn points, and those are linked to your rewards card. And the points or gems or whatever they are, there's a whole Reddit out there that'll explain this to you in detail, but you can turn those tokens into comps at various MGM properties. Now, personally, as I shared with him, I normally use it for free breakfast or BOGO drinks more than I focus on rooms. And I'm certainly not an expert on how that cycle works. I know there are release dates for the comps and it's first come, first serve, but it's very, very possible. If you are interested in being an MGM customer, and not to do a commercial for them, but if MGM is a brand you're exploring, the My Vegas app and the free spins is a way to generate comps without playing. And like the MGM card's unique benefits, that is a unique thing to the MGM brand, at least in my experience. VCPD continued. My next question has to do with blackjack table rules. I'm stuck with 6 to 5 in my local casino until I can get a bankroll and get into a bigger bankroll and get into the high limit room. But there are a few rules that I can choose from. On the electronic version of blackjack, and this is an important comment that he put here in parentheses, he said, I know I'm a low roller, lol. And I want to come back to that. But he says on the electronic version, the dealer stands on soft 17. On the live tables, they hit soft 17. On the live tables, you can double any 2 cards. On the electronic version, you can double most any 2 cards, but there are many soft hands that basic strategy says to double, and you are not given the option to stand or hit. Which rule is better for the player? Dealer standing on soft 17 or being able to double when basic strategy calls for it? This is an excellent, excellent examination of 2 rule sets and what's the best choice. And best may be relative here in a couple of ways, and I'll talk about that. But the first big point I want to make, and this is very important, everyone is a low roller compared to someone else unless you are in the top 0.1% of players. There are plenty of people that look at my play and go, oh, he's a high roller. And there are way more people that look at my play and go, what a low roller. What a joke. What a stooge. That's all he's playing for, right? So please don't, I appreciate the self-deprecation, but there are plenty of people that are going to look at what you're doing, not VCPD specifically, but all of us in general, whatever level we play at, and our knowledge and our skill and our ability, and they're going to perceive themselves as a small, low roller player compared to us. And quite honestly, no matter how big a chip you're playing, there's probably somebody playing bigger than you. So no worries there in that regard. We play the level we can play, and that's different for everybody. And the key is that your bankroll is appropriate to the wagers you have chosen to make. That's the most important part, and whether you think you're a low roller or a high roller, who cares? The blackjack question here is an interesting one. Standing on all 17, the house standing on all soft 17s is a slight player advantage that is normally reserved for the most expensive tables. Doubling more hands and being able to double after splits is also to the player's advantage. So here we have the electronic game that advantages the player in one way and disadvantages them in another. And we have the live game, which disadvantages them in one way and advantages them in another. So what's better? That's a really great question. And without knowing each rule, what I would have to do, and what I did not do, is I would have to go to Wizard of Odds, and I would have to know the exact rule set of the live and the electronic machine, number of decks, all of those things, and I would have to look up the pluses and minuses of each one to know the mathematical answer on where the house's advantage is the lowest. I didn't do that. I don't have VCPD's exact rules for both games. And so I didn't do the math question, what is the house's smallest advantage? But that said, the house's advantage on each of these games is similar. They're both not ideal because it's a 3-2, not a 3-2 game, but the house's advantage is going to be very, very similar mathematically. So I think there's another way to look at this. And that's what I want to do, is look at what some of those other factors are in looking this. Another question here would be, and I don't know the answer, but he can find out the answer. Another question would be tier credits for machine versus table play. If the machines give no points, that's the answer. Play the tables, the live game. If the machine gives out points like a slot machine, in the same way that a slot machine gives points, the answer is the machine. A lot of blackjack machines give 0 points. And if they do give points, they give points like a regular blackjack table. Whereas slots give a lot more points per dollar wagered. And if a machine is configured that way, that would be the way to go. Having said all of that, extra options for splitting and doubling both increase the chance of getting knocked out early when things go poorly, and the chance of getting ahead early when things go well, and the chance of recovering from a poor start with a single hand putting things back on track. This would be at a live game. In addition, pit bosses can be manipulated, hero or crook, you decide, but they can be manipulated by discussing the average wager estimate with them. And you can't do that with the machine. You can say to a pit boss, perhaps if you've got a couple larger wagers in a row, hey, how do you have me rated? And they can look at their computer and they can decide to add 2 things for you. Machine's never going to do that. The machine's going to calculate exactly what you put in. The machine just records what happens. It doesn't have to estimate. The machine doesn't leave you in when you walk away because it's busy doing other things. Real pit bosses do that. The machine knows you cashed out. The machine can't back up your time 30 minutes because it took a few minutes longer to come over and swipe your card. But regular pit bosses will do that all the time if you ask. If you've played a couple hands and they don't have you in, you can say, unlike a machine, you can say to the human pit boss, hey, can you back me up a little bit? I've been here a while. And they almost always give you 15 or 30 minutes, even if you've only been there 4 or 5. They don't care. They want to be overly nice. Machines do care. They're not nice. They're just machines. Machines don't leave you in the game if you step away for a phone call or to run to the bathroom or to go get a root beer. Real pit bosses often do that. Play at a machine doesn't slow down for other people to get in or out of the game. Play at a real table does slow down, and that's somewhat factored into their math of hands per hour, but the point here is this. All kinds of things extend your time and therefore your tier points on a live table in a way that playing at a machine does not. The machine is a computer. It calculates the numbers as accurately as possible, and that's it. And for all those reasons, I'd lean toward playing the table version rather than the machine version. These are excellent questions. And as important, we see another illustration of someone applying casino combat principles to their specific situation and play environment. A casino lifestyle is whatever you want it to be. And speaking from my personal experiences, it can be something that changes over time. Look, part of the hook, and I get it, it's intentional, right? Part of the hook of the podcast is comped hotel rooms, comped cruises, comped meals, the big casino lifestyle. However, 10 years ago, I had kids in school. I had a much bigger consulting practice. I couldn't travel on a regular basis for weeks at a time, multiple times a year. my casino lifestyle was much closer to home most of the time, in almost all situations, with fun and notable exception. VCPD is adapting the arsenal to his specific situation and working with the casino he has available while also looking at how to build out the relationship with a different brand. So thank you, VCPD. That's a great set of prompts, both from a rewards program point of view and from a blackjack rules point of view. Excellent. Super appreciate the prompt. I said during the open that I was going to address a beginner's question for new listeners to our podcast. I recently had several people in an online group find out about the podcast, find out about what I do, and I received a number of private messages with the basic question, will you teach me, or how do I learn what you do? I ended up sending a variation of the same answer multiple times to multiple people, and it struck me that new listeners might very well benefit from hearing a version of, how do I start learning to do this given the materials that are available? This is very different from where the podcast started. The podcast started with, hey, if you're willing to listen to the next 8 episodes, I'll teach you how to win the game of casino gambling. Okay, pretty clear roadmap. Now the reality is, if you're listening to episode 130 and you're just finding things, yes, I would certainly encourage you. I have said many wonderful and brilliant things, and I would certainly encourage you to go back and listen to every single episode. And beyond that, I will tell you that people whose opinions I value and respect have said that they go back and listen a second time or a third time, and they learn things they didn't learn the first time. And that's revelatory and wonderful. So I certainly think there is value there in opinions I trust. But if you're sitting here right now, if you're coming at this for the first time, if you would like to learn this in something less than 140 hours, where do you start? Where do you start? So here's the answer I've been giving to people. I've been saying this. I'm going to direct you to about 6 hours of content. It's all free. I don't sell anything. Why would I need to charge if I can win? It doesn't seem right. First, on the Casino Combat YouTube channel, there is a playlist called Boot Camp. Oh, I just transgressed the unwritten law. Okay, we'll come back to the unwritten law in a minute. On the Casino Combat YouTube channel, there is a playlist called Boot Camp. Camp is spelled with a K. It is a set of 10 to 15 minute lessons that teach what I consider the basics of winning the game of casino gambling. The whole playlist takes about 90 minutes. From there, Casino Combat Podcast episodes 62, 63, and 64, the High Holy Trinity of Casino Combat episodes, and episode 97, available on Spotify, Google, Apple, Amazon, iHeart, and lots of other places, or anchor.fm/Casino Combat. And I generally write here, obviously, I think you should listen to all my episodes, as I just said to all of you, but those are the minimum to understand what I do. Those episodes teach you how I wager. TRG2, always be grindin', and the improvement, TRG4, win more, keep more. I mostly play blackjack, but this all works with baccarat and pass or don't pass craps as well. It's been tested by myself and others for a number of years now. Others report similar results to mine. Next, CasinoCombat.com/Fred has download links for PDF flowcharts of both systems. They are great for learning at the kitchen table. Also on the YouTube channel, there is a playlist called TRG Wagering Systems. I demonstrate all my wagering systems with chips while playing against a computer. Extra, on the same bet YouTube channel, the host has tested TRG4 on the don't pass line on craps. Finally, there's a Facebook group called Casino Combat Squad, where you can interact with other listeners, ask questions, hear results, etc. I play 5+ days a week. I don't win every day. I do win most months. I've had a profit after expenses every year for almost 4 years, and received double my winnings or more in comped rooms, meals, shows, and cruises every year. If you have questions as you work through things, you are welcome to email trg@casinocombat.com. That's a nice little summary, and I did. I transgressed the unwritten law. I don't know where it came from. It's just been in existence since I started. The Council of Internet Elders demand, under threat of punishment, that if I mention social media, if I mention YouTube, if I mention these things, I am required to ask all of you to like, share, star, subscribe, all of those things. And it's weird. It is weird that anybody that's a creator on the internet has to immediately say, hey, mash that subscribe button, hit that star, give me a like, give me a share, give me a thumbs up, give me all these things, please, please, please. It's weird, but it's a rule. The last thing I need is to get called before the Holy Tribunal and ask why I mentioned social media and YouTube and didn't ask all of you to do this. So please do this. And now I've asked, and then let me share this part. It's actually really important because there are machines out there that do things called algorithms, and the algorithms decide what to show people when they search. And what they show people is based on what people like all of you do. If you like, if you subscribe, if you share, if you star, if you thumbs up, if you favorite, if you do whatever the things the platform you are on with us provides, the algorithm shows other people that they might want to see this, that they might want to be a part of it. So jokes and shtick aside, since we're talking about it, if you're interacting with us on social media, if you listen to that playlist, and you can donate some likes, subscribes, shares, stars, it really goes a long way. In a way that myself, Billy with the great last name, and T-Rex cannot do for ourselves. And if you have done those things, and so many of you have, so many of you are so diligent about it, I can't tell you enough how much we all appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay. The very next thing we're going to do is a moment of casino wisdom. Casino wisdom number 28 teaches us to settle for singles and doubles, and the home runs will happen. And clearly that is a baseball metaphor, and we're going to revel in a baseball metaphor a bit here all during this episode. The idea is you're not swinging for the fences every time you play. You're not trying for the big win. Not trying for the big win on slot machines. We'll settle for 10% using TRG slot strategy El Numero Dos from the book Casino Combat Slot Tactics that you can download from the Fred section of the website. That does generate some big wins. It's generated some really nice, solid, multi-days pay wins. But we're just trying to get 10% and get out. That's a single. That's I got on base. That's I did my job. I went up to bat and I made things happen. Take small wins. If that's where the exit process leads you, be happy with it. And eventually, the exit process will lead you to a big win naturally and randomly. And I'll reflect a bit on that in my own life when we talk about results in a minute. But what about when you're not only not hitting home runs, philosophically and metaphorically, but not hitting singles and doubles? Because I do hear it from squad members on an ongoing basis. It does happen to everyone, and it is horrible. I certainly ended January that way. People write me and they say it was going okay. I was getting a little win here and a little win here and a little win here. And then I took back-to-back big losses. I did everything according to plan and nothing went right. And I got smacked twice in a row. Or I took a series of small manageable losses, but the wins were not very big either. It does happen to members of the squad. It happens to me. And I'm always willing to have those conversations with people. I'm always willing to dig into that with people who write and see maybe what we can take out of that. And we are trying to thread the needle here. We are trying to do what many feel is impossible. We are trying to manage money in such a way that we beat a game where the house has an advantage. And then we're trying to multiply our win with comps and gifts. And so I want to extend the baseball metaphor today around those thoughts. Now, I was not a great baseball player, and I did not play very much baseball, but I did play some, and I was around the game some more. And when you're in a slump, the coaching you receive, the advice you're given, the things my dad said to me was choke up on the bat, shorten your swing. Try to contribute in other ways if you're not hitting the ball. Just try to put the bat on the ball and get on base. Very much settle for a single. Heck, settle for a walk if that's what it takes. If that's what it takes to get on base. and contribute in other ways. And for me, when I've taken back-to-back losses or large losses or just more losses than wins, this is what I'm thinking about when I go back to the casino. Just do the basics and do them well. To completely mix the metaphors, work on the blocking and tackling. That's a mess, isn't it? In this case, choke upon the bat becomes set a slightly lower positive exit point. Or maybe just use a 1-chip exit instead of a 3-chip exit. I just want to get on base. I just want to buy in, win something close to a positive exit, and walk away from the table. And if I'm playing locally, walk out of the building. Contribute in other ways. That other piece of advice. Make sure I get the gift card. Make sure I pick up the free gift. Make sure if I'm going to get lunch, that I get lunch at the casino and I get it comped with free tax-free imaginary money. Contribute to the bottom line in other ways. Another version of the metaphor and another version of singles and doubles. Find other ways to score. And I'll be honest, often when things have been going well, if I have nothing else going on, if everyone in my life is fine and busy, if the house is going to be empty when I get home, I'll win a day's pay and then take a break and then win another day's pay. I'll treat the local casino like I'm on a trip and play multiple day sessions in one visit. And like a ball player who's in a rhythm, in a groove, and getting multiple hits from multiple at-bats, it's great when things are going well. And like a ball player, that goes out the window if things have gone badly. And I focus on just getting a win and getting out of the building. The gambling equivalent, I submit, of choking up on the bat and just getting on base. The interesting thing about that is it puts me back on course almost every time. If I just focus on getting the win a couple of times in a row, then things start to flow again. Like a baseball player, I get back in rhythm. The wins get a little bigger and a little bit bigger. I feel better about a 3-chip rather than a 1-chip exit. And boom, a home run happened. It happens because I remembered casino wisdom number 28. I went back to basics. I focused on just getting on base. I took a walk if I had to. I put the bat on the ball. I did the other things to contribute in other ways. And once I was comfortable again, just like that, I'm back on a winning course again. I'm going to reflect a bit more on this. I'm going to extend this metaphor a bit into the next segment. I'm going to talk about the results from a week of gambling in my life to start the month. If you recall last episode, as we reviewed the results for the month of January 2024, I shared that after a great start to the month, a great first 2 weeks, I had 2 weeks with multiple losing days, way more losing days than winning days, and the wins were not enough to make up for the losses, and ended up, in some ways, because of the craps experiment, what had started out as a great month kind of ended up as a hot mess. And after I recorded that episode, I really took a look at things. I really took another look in, a personal look in, not a top-down podcast look in. And what I saw in the data was that I took a normal large loss in that run of the last 2 weeks. And instead of just playing on, I started pressing. I started playing multiple sessions a day, trying to catch up in one day instead of the normal 2 to 4 days it takes. I kind of got away from my fundamentals. I literally started swinging for the fences every day. And in some cases, having a solid win and a second solid win. And then instead of leaving and being done, trying to continue to fix things and then taking a loss. I concluded I needed to focus on casino wisdom number 28 and start the new month just getting on base. Nothing to be done about the prior month. Not like it's horrible. Previous January was fine, and the month before that was great, and the year's on track. But I needed to focus. I needed to start the new month the right way. Just putting the metaphorical ball in play, getting a win, and getting out of the building and contributing to the success of the process in other ways. This is the first time in a long time that I've only needed to cover a few casino visits in an episode. And it has been forever since I did the full play-by-play for all of you. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to actually run through It's a small number of visits, but I'm going to run through all of them. Real IT work actually got very busy, and I took the first and second of the month off from gambling and focused on doing the IT stuff. And then made a rare Saturday appearance at my local casino for a free gift and a free bet. Very much planning around my promotions. Busy at work, this day, go down this day instead because you have good promotions, good comps, and gifts. I used the free bet to play some craps, don't pass craps, and exited with a win of half a day's pay. I won the initial free bet and then used a part of that to keep playing and winning, and walked out when I finally lost a part of the original money I had won. I hit the ball, I got on base, I left. All right, let's pull up the rest of the spreadsheet here and take a look at the rest of the week. The next visit, I tried the same trick again on the craps table, and it failed. And I took a small loss. And I went to the blackjack tables with a very low positive exit point in mind. I just wanted enough to fix the craps loss and get to a small profit. I just wanted to hit a single. It had been almost 5 days since I played blackjack, which sounds trivial, but it's rare that I go 5 days without playing. It's easier to win one than infinity, so with a small profit, I took a break, talked to Spike Dice a bit, and went to a second blackjack table, and won a day's pay. Starting to feel like I'm getting back on track a little bit and off to a good start for the month. The next day is this is absolutely a great illustration of having a portfolio of inputs. I stopped at the MGM property near my customer. I comped myself some gas for my car using free tax-free imaginary money, and then had a small slot win playing Devil's Lock before traveling to my local full-service casino. I used free slot play to win some additional money using TRG slot strategy number 1, and then had a positive exit at the blackjack table. The note on that win really says it all. It says, add in the slot machine win and the other slot machine win, and that's a day's pay. I was out of that building in less than 30 minutes. Contributions from other areas. Gasoline, small slot win since I was at that building already, then free slot play. Those are all contributions to the bottom line. Those are all cash contributions to our daily life. And then a small win and out the door without looking back. That's hitting a single. And that's it. That wraps up the entire week. It's kind of fun to get back to doing these a week at a time thing. We'll see if we can keep that going. No promises. But I was focused. I was quick. I was taking small wins to follow Casino Wisdom number 28. And I finished the first week of the month plus 4 days pay, as well as the comps and the gifts. I've got cruises coming up in the near future. There will be plenty of casino lifestyle things to talk about. But right now, I need to hit the ball well and get on base and try to stack wins. This week I did. We'll find about next week and the week after next time. All right, T-Rex is waving me home to continue abusing this metaphor. Let's adjourn to the virtual VIP lounge, and I'll tell you about Kee-n't.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome to the most must-listen-to segment in casino podcasting, the virtual VIP lounge. Our lounge is open, and we have the best virtual everything virtually all the time. The best virtual food and drink served in any virtual VIP lounge anywhere on the interwebs, guaranteed, or your money back. As always, if you can, press pause, pour yourself something, fix a plate. Today is a root beer day for me. I got to take on that world. When you're an adult, it's no cliche. It's the truth. Really looking forward to doing this to you. Wrote this after an experience at the blackjack table with this wonderful, interesting, I was going to say human being. I'm not convinced. We do exist in the casino combat galaxy, and that means there may be aliens. So this is a truly wonderful being. Interesting person. No guy. No question about it. I met him about a month ago, I guess, and the dealer was giving him a fair amount of grief. Apparently, the dealer knew him fairly well, and she said to him a couple times, "You're either grumpy and mad and loud, or you're sad and half asleep. And right now, you're grumpy and mad and loud, and I don't really need it." So she knew him well enough to kind of take him to task. And we played, and he lost, and another gentleman was talking to a pit boss about the fact that he was new and learning and really didn't know much of anything, but he wasn't having fun and he wasn't winning. And the pit boss said, "Well, honestly, if you want to learn, just ask that guy right there, pointing to me, of course. He's an expert. He knows how to win, and I'm sure he'll be happy to teach you. So as the conversation went around, I ended up giving that gentleman a business card, and the alien, Kee-n't, says, "Oh, I want one too." I said, okay. And eventually the gentleman that was trying to learn left, and Kee-n't and I played for a while. And he is a all-over-the-place basic strategy player, which means sometimes yes, sometimes no. Bets go in all kinds of different directions randomly. Side bets sometimes, not side bets others. And I thought, okay, well, whatever. And then I ran into him again. And he says, hey, yeah, I listened to a couple episodes. You said 62 and 63, and that's pretty complicated. And I said, well, it is. I said, it's, best not to try to learn in the casino, best to sit down at your kitchen table and try to learn there. But I noticed he wasn't doing any of the things I talked about. Not a single thing that we talked about was he doing. Didn't look like his bankroll matched his wagers, didn't look like nothing was being applied. And so almost every day now since then, I see him. Almost. Every day he's losing, every day he's angrier. In fact, increasingly, he's angry all the time. And every time I talk to him, he is losing what for me would be a week's pay almost every time. And I talk to him, and he has lots of limitations that make him angry. And maybe these are limitations that come with being an ent. I don't know. But he's not fun to play around. He's always mad. He's always losing. And why is it? Well, let me tell you, because he has explained it to me, often while slamming his fist on the table. You see, he can't win on 19. He can't win if he hits his 16. He can't win if he doubles 11. He can't win his side bets. He can't win if he bets more than one chip, which he does randomly. He watches me win and walk away with a win almost every time I see him. But since he can't win, he can't listen to the podcast. Maybe there's a lesson there somewhere, but I'm sure he can't learn it. Random add-on, in addition to the story of Kee-n't and the things he can't win, I did have a really good experience down at the casino this week, one that I do really want to share, because it also indicates that in addition to the ents, in addition to the can'ts, won'ts, and don'ts, in addition to the people like Kee-n't that can't win and can't hit their 16s and can't bet more than one chip, all the things that I guess he can't do because he's an alien, there are people that are trying, doing, learning, winning. And this was a really cool story. And honestly, it ended up being a quick handwritten note here, but it really does need to be shared because it really is heartwarming in ways that my encounters with Kee-n't have not been. I'm walking through my local casino, looking for a blackjack table, and this guy stands up, and he stands up fast, almost knocks his chair over, and he's like, "It's you. I was hoping I'd see you. It's you. You're the podcast guy. You probably don't remember me." And I said, "Well, sorry, I really don't." He goes, No. I just, I only get through here once in a while, but I was hoping I would run into you. You changed my life. And I said, "Wait, what? I changed your life?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, I played with you a while back when I was in town, and we got talking about the podcast. And you told me to focus on winning the casino relationship, not the game of blackjack. And I never forgot that. And I've been doing that. I've been focused on winning the casino relationship. And sometimes I play blackjack well and I do okay and I make some money. And sometimes I make money other ways. But I focused on that. And you told me, you pointed out those other ways. You pointed to the focus that a comp for more than the price of a loss is a win. And I started to see things that way. And I was just hoping that I'd run into you and that I would see you and that you'd be here and I could thank you because you really did change my life in terms of how I live in casinos. And that's a really cool thing. That's an in. That's a learning, trying, doing, winning person. And if we just got to coexist with the alien ents, that's okay. We can do that. We are doing that all the time. Please tip your waitresses, tip your bartenders, tip your dealer. If you have a host, tip your host. Don't tip away your wins. I have spoken. Everything you heard here is true from a certain point of view. In 10 years, we may find out I was wrong about all of this. It's time for leaving, and I hope you understand I was born a rambling man. Love it, hate it, it don't matter. Please share with your family and friends. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening. As always, thank you for the gift of your time. And the Casino Combat Blues, the best part of the podcast, is next.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With the all-new Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from good to excellent. Introducing the new Sleep Score on Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
REI Co-op presents a perfect outdoor moment with the perfect gift. Picture this. You're ripping with your favorite person. Bluebird skies, blower powder, and frankly, you're skiing like legends.
So sick. Another lap?
Thanks to REI's curation, from lid to sticks, you nailed the gift.
No way. How'd you know?
Does it get more perfect than that? Give without guessing. Shop in store or visit rei.com.
For Atlantic City Empress, Casino Combat's ace. There are profits in the casino tonight, I can feel it in my bones. I had a premonition, you should probably play alone. I know the house has that advantage, but that's part of the thrill. If we follow the core concepts, the chips begin to spill. So baby, here's your player's card, put your bankroll in your hand. Use just some of that money now, do it just the way we planned. Just follow the core concepts and you could win several grand. Well, it's good if it goes down like that, don't have to play to lose. It's gambling as a business, the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues. The dealers and the pit bosses, the security and the law, the winning and the losing and the tricks nobody saw. No matter if it's blackjack, roulette or craps, you gotta carry defense cause you always carry cash. There's lots of shady characters, lots of dirty deals. Everybody has an alias cause that's more fun we feel. It's the lure of winning money, it's got a very strong appeal. Perhaps you'd understand it better standing in my shoes. It's the ultimate enticement, it's the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues. Whoa. You don't see it in the headlines, you don't hear it every day. No one's trying to stop us and we don't need to go away. We can gamble in Atlantic City, we can gamble in LA, we can gamble out in Vegas. I mean, we're here to stay. Gambling's propping up the budgets of folks like me and you. You ask any casino manager, he'll say there's nothing he can do. From the pockets of the casino, right down to me and you. Me and you. It's a winning proposition and one you shouldn't refuse. It's just the core concepts, the Casino Combat Blues. Casino Combat Blues.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but Mint's premium wireless is $15 a month. But I'd like to offer one other perk. We have no stores. That means no small talk. Crazy weather we're having. No, it's not. It's just weather. It is an introvert's dream. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan. $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.